Hi, everybody. Thanks for listening. I'm Jenny. I'm a life coach. And today we're talking about what the hell you're going to sell if you want to be a solopreneur. Um, so, we talked in the last episode about how step one is not about um, what you're selling yet. It's really, it's not even like, I don't even want you to worry about what you're creating yet. It's about learning, it's about collecting ideas and inspiration. I have a lemonade stand principle that I like to use, which is we treat everything like ingredients and not recipes, and we are looking for clues and not answers. So, for example, I really love shamanism, but that doesn't mean I'm supposed to be a shaman, right? It means I'm just supposed to sprinkle that ingredient in to a different recipe, to a larger recipe. So, step one is it's not about creating, it's about learning, following your inspiration, collecting ingredients. Um, I didn't really explain what this has to do with the lemonade stand, but picture it like you're not building a lemonade company. You're just going to the corner with your lemonade and you're seeing if anyone comes and buys it. And you're getting feedback, you're collecting feedback like, oh, they like the blueberry lemonade, and I didn't really sell any raspberry lemonade. So every week you go to your corner, you try a different recipe and you see what happens with it. So this is basically like just learning about things you're interested in, making content about it, um, a variety of content, and then waiting to see what picks up steam and letting go of what doesn't. Um, I also like to use a garden analogy. You don't know what you're growing yet. You're just preparing the soil and you're planting a whole bunch of different seeds and you're waiting to see what grows and what doesn't grow. Um, it's like we're building a little apothecary of ingredients. So I really like shamanism and I really like astrology. And it's like all these little bottles that eventually you're going to start mixing together. But we don't want to get ahead of ourselves. Step one is just about, what little ingredients do you want to start collecting? So you don't start with the product, you arrive there. Um, so so once you've got all these ingredients that you're really excited to start using, um there's a thing photographers do when they're trying to get, certain photography jobs is they create on spec. So they create something and then figure out how to sell it later. So like if I wanted to be a landscape photographer, no one is going to start out paying me, um to go do landscape photography. I have to build a portfolio first. So I have to start giving myself my own projects, and then hopefully try to sell those photos later. And then eventually that portfolio is going to get me paid work. So think about, adapting that in a more metaphorical way. Think about creating on spec, oh, this week I'm going to make content, about yoga, and the next week I'll make content about something else I'm interested in, right? And you're basically making a portfolio of the work that you want to get, but you don't have to pick and choose one thing until you know what's generating interest. Um, it's okay to follow mentors, and it's okay to copy them if it's just for practice, but you don't want to copy them once you're actually ready to start your own business. It's okay if you mix inspiration from a bunch of places together, but you don't want to be copying any one person. You want to look for what they're not saying. If you're following mentors, it's better to look at what are they not saying? What are they missing? And focusing on that instead of comparing yourself to other people and trying to be like them. Instead of following other people, make your own path by borrowing from everywhere and focusing on what they're missing. If you're going to compare yourself to someone, compare yourself to your to your past self. And don't copy people, combine people. Um, Everything you learn is an ingredient. You're taking those ingredients and you're inventing recipes. You take your recipes to the festival of the internet and you're putting them out for sale. And then while they're deciding if they like your recipes or not, you just keep making more recipes. You're just throwing spaghetti at a wall. You're not getting attached to any one noodle. You're just waiting to see what noodles stick. So you can't start with a destination because we have to be in the sandbox, feeling the energy as we go. You don't know what food you like until you're already trying it. So that's the mindset we want to have when we're figuring out what our product is. Don't get attached to any one seed. Plant a bunch of seeds and see what grows. You're not focused on the outcome. You're starting wide, and then over time, you're going to narrow down. And you're not the one doing the narrowing. Your audience is doing the narrowing for you. And some things are going to feel like they just have dead energy, and some things are going to logically make sense, but the energy is going to feel dead. And if you're an empath, you have to ignore logic and you have to follow the energy. So even if something makes logical sense, but the energy feels dead, it's okay to put that thing down. Um, Empaths are great at this. Most people avoid pain, but empaths are great at embracing pain. And that's actually going to be helpful here because removing pain points is, the number one way successful businesses operate. And we're so good at reading other people's pain. So instead of researching bliss and following bliss, research pain. Pain, even though it's uncomfortable, makes us feel alive, makes other people feel alive. The more you can lean into pain, the more joy you're also capable of feeling. And so really embrace pain when you're figuring out what product. People pay for solutions to pain. Um, and most empaths, our purpose is linked to our wound anyway. Once we learn how to heal our wounds, then we can go teach other people how to heal their wounds. It's a pretty easy, business plan for us. Um, don't trade your time for money unless you enjoy it. You can't really scale a business if you're trading your time for money, but you don't need to scale your business if it's work that you enjoy. So like something like therapy or coaching, you're trading time for money there. But if it fuels you and it feeds your soul and you enjoy it, that's okay. With things that you don't enjoy, then think about how you can make them passive. Then think about, how the things I don't enjoy, how can I make them passive? And the things that I do enjoy, then it's okay to trade your time for money. Think about how you can make money from thin air. So instead of buying products that cost money and then reselling them at a higher price, how can you create things that don't cost any money, right? Like these courses are one example. I mean, I pay for a Zoom subscription, but it's negligible, right? Um, Knowledge is the easiest thing to sell. That doesn't really, and I read books, but I would be paying for those books anyway. So think about ways you can make money from thin air instead of having to invest in all this supplies that you're going to upsell. Think about recurring income, things that you can keep reselling because we have limited energy wallet, right? And so conserving energy is helpful if we can. Um, think about your sweet spot. Your personality type is gonna give you really good clues about what your sweet spot is, where your strengths are, what your gifts are, if you research your personality type. Because usually the thing that we're really, really good at, we're so good that we don't even notice that we're doing it because we do it effortlessly. So, being intuitive and seeing patterns is something INFJs kind of do effortlessly. And we don't really realize it's a gift unless we're really looking at that. So look at your personality type and figure out what the strengths of your personality type are. Um, our work also needs to be meaningful. So this is where, we could have a logical idea that should make a lot of money, but if it's not meaningful, um, the energy around it's going to be dead. We're not going to be motivated. It's not going to be sustainable. We're not going to be able to keep engaging with it. So our work also needs to be meaningful. But if you care too much, then that puts too much pressure on you to be successful and to help people. So you have to be careful. It needs to be meaningful, and you also can't care too much. Um, you have to think about there's things that you want to create just for you, and then there's things that your community wants that might be a little bit different. And it's okay to create things that are just for you, but you can't count on those being the things that give you income and sustain your business. Um, there might be a book that you want to write, for your own healing, and that's fine. It's fine to create from those more selfish is the wrong word. I just don't have a better one. It's okay to create from those more selfish places. If it's just something that you need to exist in the world, that's fine. But if you want to make money, you need to focus on what your community wants. And it's possible to do both of those things in the same business, right? Like you could be an author who writes books just for you, and you could also teach other people how to write. Like you can combine those things together. Um, just be clear, really honest with yourself on which one of those things you're going for. Don't send emails to people about yourself because no one cares. It's not about you, it's about them. When you're marketing yourself, when you're marketing your business and your products, it needs to be about them. This puts empaths at an advantage because we're great at putting other people before us. So it's not about self expression when you're marketing, it's about being of service to others. Um, you don't get to decide what you sell, your audience decides. So don't fall in love with an idea before you've tested it. We project very far into the future. We're very good at falling in love with ideas before we test them. So you really have to detach from the outcome. And if you're not really into the services and providing services to people, a lot of empaths are artistic, and they just want to focus on selling their art. And that's fine too. A lot of artists supplement their income by also teaching other people how to do art. Um, so that's also something to think about. Your homework is to create your own MBA and choose things you want to learn about. Create your own reading list or MBA and choose things that you want to learn about, not things that you want to sell. Um, you're picking and choosing metaphorical classes, or you're picking and choosing real or metaphorical books. Um, Creating your own master's degree, um, but not picking up the title of what that master's degree is, just picking all the different classes you want to take, all the different things that you want to learn about. And then eventually you will arrive at your product once you've collected all of those ingredients. Um, if you could take a 1 year sabbatical to learn about anything or any combination of things you wanted, what would you learn about? This is another way to arrive at the same answer. And then you consider this list of ingredients, and you're kind of putting them all into a bucket. And then you're kind of just over time, letting different ingredients pull you towards them. Over time, you're going to mix them all together and make different recipes. So create your own MBA, but don't choose a title, just choose your classes, choose your reading list. And if you could take a 1 year sabbatical to learn about anything or any combination of things you wanted, what would you learn about? And then consider this list your ingredients, not your recipe, but your ingredients. And then also think about, what do you already do for fun without even thinking about it? Um, and add that to your list as an ingredient as well. What do you already do for fun without even thinking about it, or without even trying to make money from it? And add that to your list of ingredients as well. That's everything I have for today, everybody. Thanks for listening. If you want coaching or more information, check out the links in my description. Bye.